Have you ever wondered why some people seem to stay focused, disciplined, and unstoppable, while others struggle to keep even the simplest promises to themselves? The difference often comes down to one powerful skill: self-control. Self-control is not just about resisting temptation, it's a core pillar of self-development. It's the ability to guide yourself toward what is right, even when every impulse pulls you in the opposite direction. In many ways, it is what separates intention from action, dreams from results. At its root, self-control begins with two forces: willpower and discipline. When you cultivate self-control, something remarkable happens. You begin to trust yourself. Tasks that once seemed impossible start to feel achievable. Confidence grows, not because life gets easier, but because you become stronger. Self-control fuels perseverance. It gives you the stamina to continue long after motivation fades. And motivation matters. When you are driven by a meaningful goal, you become more willing to accept challenges. Each challenge you overcome strengthens your ability to control yourself. It's a feedback loop. Success builds discipline, and discipline builds more success. But here's something many people overlook. Self-control requires energy. You cannot run on empty and expect to stay disciplined. Rest and recovery are not luxuries, they are necessities. When you're exhausted, stressed, or mentally drained, your ability to regulate impulses drops dramatically. That's why finding ways to relax and recharge is essential. Listening to music, exercising, spending time in nature, or simply taking mindful breaks can restore your mental energy. Imagine a student trying to finish an entire course in a single day. At first, it might seem productive, but after hours of non-stop studying, fatigue sets in, stress increases, focus declines, learning becomes inefficient. However, if that same student studies in focus sessions with short breaks in between, productivity improves and stress decreases. Sometimes the most disciplined choice is to pause. Another critical foundation of self-control is self-awareness. Before you can control yourself, you must understand yourself. This means honestly examining your personality, your strengths, your weaknesses, your habits, and your triggers. What situations make you lose focus? What cravings pull you off course? What emotions lead you toward unhealthy decisions? Once you identify these patterns, you can begin to manage them. For example, if you love ice cream and eat it every day, self-control doesn't necessarily mean eliminating it forever. It might mean reducing it to twice a week. This small act of restraint strengthens your willpower muscle. Over time, you become less dependent on the habit and more in control of your choices. Self-control is not punishment. It's the willingness to say no in the present, so you can say yes to a better future. This brings us to another essential element: strong willpower. Many people make plans, they set goals, they declare big intentions, but when comfort calls, discipline collapses. Laziness, distractions, and short-term pleasures take over. Think about morning exercise, one of the most common examples. The alarm rings, you know what you should do, but the bed feels warmer, sleep feels sweeter, and suddenly the plan disappears. This is where true willpower reveals itself. A person with strong willpower sacrifices comfort for purpose. They act, not based on how they feel in the moment, but on what they have decided matters most. However, it's important to remember that willpower is not constant. Stress, fatigue, and emotional strain can weaken it. That's why managing stress is part of maintaining self-control.